Hello and welcome to this video on how to make a Freedom of Information request. Now this applies to the UK, I should say. If you're an American, you're looking for a slightly different video. And whilst this has been prepared, as the big logos may show you, by the Independent Health Professionals Association for primarily contractors, independent contractors within the health service, mostly public sector, mostly the NHS in the UK, also private sector contractors. This applies really to anyone in the UK that wants to make a Freedom of Information Act request. I should say we are choosing to use a website that makes this very simple and easy to do, but that this isn't the only way of doing it. You can actually go, every organisation will have an email address you can find on their webpage that will show you how to do this. That said, this particular way makes it really simple. You don't need to even bother searching for the emails. That hard bit's all been done for you, and the big benefit is that the information you get from this, because it's a website, it's publicly searchable on Google, other people will benefit from it as well. They'll be able to find it. If the reason you want the information for, you want it publicly, I would suggest you follow the steps. You can take the template that I placed down in the description, get an idea, the overview of the process from this, but you probably don't want to use this website because it will make it publicly searchable. That said, for our purposes, that's a huge benefit. Now, lastly, just a comment, and some of these quick points I'm making here, I know many of you may not be locum contractors, locum health professionals watching this. For those who are, you may have seen our success and newspaper article. Briefly show you later, but we'll get the guide out the road first for those that maybe that's less relevant to. But the Locum Doctors Union is an unincorporated trade association which we had a lot of success with, which has been absorbed into this new organisation, the Independent Health Professionals Association. The LDU still exists, and it's a body within our organisation. Our organisation represents locum physios, OTs, the full, all types of locums essentially, all types of professions, locum pharmacists, everything. The Locum Doctors Union is a specific subset of that. It's a doctors' advocacy group within our organisation. Okay, so briefly, just because I know that those of you seeing that logo will be thinking that, let's get on to what you want to hear about, which is Freedom of Information Act requests. Okay, so the Freedom of Information Act 2000 was a piece of legislation the government introduced, a very good piece of legislation from our point of view. I'm sure it's a nightmare for the organisation subject to it, which says that specified public body organisations, and there's a list of them in the Act, must disclose information they hold unless certain exempting qualifications are met. The vast majority of information held by public service bodies you can access this way. Exemptions are for things like ongoing legal cases or national security. They don't want you sort of quizzing their spy master on the names of all their spies. Actually, names would be protected. We'll come to that later. But for all the information everything the spies are doing, and sort of national secrets and all that kind of thing. But for information that's not covered by national secrecy legislation or one of the specific exemptions, and the vast majority of information is not covered by these exemptions, for that information, the public body is obliged to disclose it, and obliged to disclose it on a very set out in stone timescale. So, very good piece of legislation. It's simple to use. Let's have a look at how to do that. A few quick points. So, who can you make an FOI against? The Act sets out a bunch of organisations, which are most of the public sector organisations fall under, where you can place a Freedom of Information Act request. There are a few it doesn't apply to, not very many. Some environmental agencies, you need to use certain environmental legislation. There's a very similar procedure for that you can find very easily if you Google, and you can get all the information on that anyway, but you won't get it under the Freedom of Information Act. A quick quirk. Personal information is protected by the Data Protection Act 1998, and that kind of works against the Freedom of Information Act for the disclosure of that. You'll be happy with that. It means that, for example, I can't put through a Freedom of Information Act request for private individuals' tax affairs or something like that, because that's protected. I'm not allowed that information. As an odd quirk, you can't even request your own information under the Freedom of Information Act. Now, organisations might not be nice and tell you that information. They might hide that from you, and in that case, they may tell you it's protected by the Data Protection Act. What you need to know is, that you can make another thing, and there's no standard form for either of these emails, called a subject access request under Data Protection Act 1998 for any personal information on yourself, but you have no power to get someone else's personal information. These acts can be combined if you're doing this for yourself, so you can say that this is a Freedom of Information Act request under the Freedom of Information Act 2000 with respect to information covered by that, and also a subject access request under the Data Protection Act 1998 for information not covered. And combining these two lets you get all your own information from an organisation. Being doctors, some of you, or health professionals, you'll know that actually there's certain exceptions even within medical things where certain items of your notes can be withheld by your medical team, particularly important, say, for psychiatric patients where we think that that we need to have a safe space to discuss with other professionals, and we worry that the results of what's in there could affect someone's mental health, for example. Any such appeals on anything like this go to the Information Commissioner on either side, and the Information Commissioner sees the information and makes a sort of impartial decision on getting the information. So, how do you use this website we keep talking about? Actually, you could have used it 3 times over in the time that I've been giving you background about it. It's very, very simple. The website is www.whatdotheyknow.com. There's a link to it in the description below. And all you need to do is key that into your browser, and then you'll be presented with a website that looks a bit like this. Apologies if there's a little noise there. The committee that never sleeps is getting your insight into what's going on. All my phones go crazy all the time with messages from committee and things that we are doing. So the web page looks like this, and the bit that I want your eye to zoom in on there is the important box for you. You can search other people's requests and things, which all can be quite interesting or completely useless. But there's a box that says Make a Request. And this is it here. So what I need you to do is just click on that Make a Request button, and then what you will see is a page that looks a bit like this. Now I've put in the name of a body, I've picked at random, so NHS Improvement, put in there, hit search. Then a list of public bodies comes up. It's the top one is the one that I typed in there I can see, but if there were several of them similar, then you would get a list of all the ones. You don't need to find contact details or anything with this site. It makes it so simple. You just click that Make a Request box again that you'll see down there, just directly beneath the search button, Make a Request. That is all you need to click, and then what will happen is you'll be presented with a page that looks a little bit like this. There you go. So, topic page, you just enter a subject for the request. There is no standard form the request needs to take. You can literally just say, tell me the number of employees that you have. You don't need any standard form. You need to put a name on it, but you don't need any standard form. That said, I put a template in the description below. It's helpful to use the template because it shows you know how the legislation works, and you're not going to be tricked or deceived by them not disclosing things and not knowing that you don't know to go to the Information Commissioner, for example, or trying to charge excessive fees. And many of these common caveats are covered here. You'll notice I've said I want the information by email. I have made loads of Freedom of Information Act requests. I have never had to pay for it, but they're allowed to charge an administration fee, and they're more likely to do this, so I'm told. That's why I've never done it. If you request paper copies or things like that, postage, but also time and labour doing scanning, photocopying, printing and things for you. If you request it by email, there's usually no charge. They're also not allowed to charge excessive requests. The standard template that you just put your information request into, and I've just made this one up on the top of my head. You'll notice I've also gone with a different body just to be fair. You just slot that in, and the bits above and below just kind of show that you're aware of the timeline and prevent them getting any ideas about messing you around. You know what you're doing. So that's it. Enter the request in there. If you pre-typed it, I like to do it in a Word document and paste it in just in case something goes wrong with the browser, but I'm paranoid that way. Then all you need to do is click on this little box here that says Preview Your Request. You see on that page that you typed on, a wee bit further down. You get to another page and then you click on Send and Publish Your Request, presuming it's alright when you previewed it. You can edit it if you want. That will bring you to the last stage of all this, which is the website wants you to create an account. Don't worry about this, it's confidential. You can pick any name you want. They're supposed to reply to pseudonyms. but that's not legally required. They're just encouraged to consider doing it for sort of general public good purposes. But I would suggest you use a real name. And it tactically can be good if you're doing it, it's connected with an application, to have someone else submit it on your behalf. That's fine. Get the permission. You'll need a valid email address. That won't be disclosed to the organisation, but you need to give some form of contact to the Act anyway, so you get more protection using this website than normally. And you'll have to verify that's last day. Just a password after that. Click the box to say that you're not a robot being asked to spam government bodies with thousands of freedom of information requests just to check that it's not abused. So then you click sign up. You get an email, verification email, and you essentially verify the email, and that's it. The organisation then has 20 days to reply to you. Now, you don't actually need to track it, because this web page is great for actually also keeping an eye on that for you, which is wonderful. And essentially, that's it. That's all there is to it, guys. You'll get an email if you've used this service to say when the organisation has replied, so you can click that link and go back to the page, or you can just check the page periodically. But the email reminder service is quite handy for letting you see things, and if they need clarification, they're supposed to email you, so sometimes they might email back saying, what did you mean by this or that? The sooner you reply to it, the sooner you get your 20-day countdown timer starting. Okay, so that's it for how to make a Freedom of Information Act request. If you are a locum of any kind, doctor, pharmacist, agency nurses, physios, OTs, whatever your discipline, pay attention now. If you are not involved with the health sector, you can go away, but pay attention now if you're a locum. We are an independent trade association. We represent independent health professionals, that is locums, that's contractors, and we are very focused just now on the fight against the unlawful blanketing of contractors within the public sector under IR35. The rules haven't changed. If you were outside before, you should still be outside now, but we do not feel the assessment process is being played fair just now. We'll come to some of the action we've done in a little second, but I just wanted to say, please join us, help with the fight. You will recognise the LDU as well. As I've said, that's a doctors' advocacy group within us. But we're not just for doctors, we're for all independent contractors, and the more of us, the stronger we are together, the better we'll be fighting this. I should lastly say as well that for any substantive people in the audience or people doing both jobs, we also advocate for conditions for substantive workers. We all work in the same workplace. We know the pressures that you folks are under. We often are under similar pressure, but we have more flexibility in that we can choose where we work, and you guys don't have that luxury. So we believe that many of the problems in the public sector are caused by poor pay and poor conditions of work for substantive employees, and we want to see that improved, and that this will solve a lot of the reliance on locums. We believe that is the true solution to this problem. And we also help support those substantive colleagues that feel that they cannot continue under those pressures and choose to strike it out alone. And we are here to help represent you. Some of the headlines that you may have seen recently from things that we have achieved. Now, there have been a few other newspapers as well. I just picked the Telegraph and Financial Times just to show you. We made it was our pre-action process to prevent judicial review. The NHSI conceded to prevent these progressions to judicial review, but it was us launching that process that caused the back down from NHS Improvement, who is the body that had been unlawfully entrusted a blanket. Because of our action, you can now get an individual assessment. I would urge you all to get your lawful individual assessment. It should be happening anyway, but you might not get prompted. Be sure to ask for it. We help provide guidance with people on how to fill it, and we are presently working on guidance in good faith to trusts on how they ought to be carrying out this assessment, because we believe they don't have the skills and the knowledge to do this properly, and that if they did, most of the independent contracting professionals would be outside IR35. We're hoping they will act in good faith and they receive robust guidance like that, but if they don't, they will take legal steps to remedy it. But with a bit of luck, they will pay attention when they get the correct, lawful, detailed guidance that we are providing. And if not, well, there are other means. But no matter what, bigger we are, the stronger we are, the better our chance of beating this, folks. Just another little tiny bit that came from the popular contractor blog, Contractor UK, that mentioned a little bit about what we were doing and our barrister, Michael Pollan. Okay, right. Thank you very much, folks, for watching this. Please do go to our website at www.ihpa.org.uk. Put a link on the screen for you there. Put a link in the description. You can still visit our old website, locumdoctorsunion.uk, www.locumdoctorsunion.uk. But remember, we're not just for locum doctors, we're for you. And thank you very much. I hope you support the fight and hope this helps you place some very good, very pointed Freedom of Information Act requests to help you in trying to get information out of trusts to support you. Okay, right. Thank you very much, folks. And I'm signing off now. But please do visit the website, do like, do share, do subscribe.